The Conjuring House's decline is steadily becoming, well, unstoppable at this point. You may remember, a couple of days ago, Jacqueline Nunez was arrested for drink driving, Jacqueline Nunez being the owner of the Conjuring House. And you may also remember that a couple of days ago, I released some footage that was sent to me by someone called Scott, who had a paranormal investigation at the Conjuring House, paid just off of $1,200 to go to the Conjuring House. So that was the amount that they paid to book. They travelled 1,200 miles to go to Rhode Island from Ohio, I think it was. And then, incurring their own costs along the way. And then to get to the Conjuring House for Jacqueline Nunez to basically cut their investigation short, promise them a refund. At the time of me recording this, I still don't think that they've actually got a refund. And we're well over a week into this now. But Scott has very kindly sent me over some more footage that they recorded from the night. And obviously one of the issues that I had the other day was the audio. It was really hard, especially from the video cameras, to hear what was going on. People were like, why didn't you add captions? The reason I didn't want to add captions was because if I stated that something was said and it wasn't actually said, someone can very easily turn around and be like, that's not what I said. You're putting words in my mouth. And before I know it, I could have a defamation claim on my hands. And then we're in a lot of trouble. Because let's be blunt about it, Jacqueline Nunez has got a hell of a lot more money than I do. And with money comes power and influence, unfortunately. But Scott did send me some footage. So the brand new footage comes from the basement. So he had a camera set up down there during his investigation, so you can see it just here. This is my recording, on my editing software. So this is Final Cut Pro because I am an Apple boy. And Final Cut Pro is just my jam. But on here, as you can see, we've got the audio recording and we've got the footage. Obviously, the footage isn't anything, but you can really hear it a lot clearer. I've done everything I can to make it as clear as possible. So I've cranked it all the way up to the highest possible volume setting. I've put voice enhancement on. I've also voice isolated the sound to try and cut out as much of the background white noise as possible. So we should just be left with some audio. But I must say, I've had a little listen to it. It does come through a hell of a lot clearer. So I'm just going to leave it to run. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to react, just quietly in the corner in my little bubble as I do. Because I want to leave it just completely uninterrupted, and then we'll have a chat about it afterwards.
We're not gonna put anything on. I don't even really even use social media. So I mean, I'm not. Well, you can leave over here. Okay. Can I get that in writing though? I will just refund you. But I know that you're no different. Can you send me the refund now though? Because I don't trust that if I leave, I just want something in writing that I'm gonna get a refund. There's no other refund. And we're the most famous location in the world. We get people from around the world. There's a lot of famous places that rip people off too though, so I mean. We've never done. Can you send me some, can you give me at least an email or a text message that says you're gonna refund me? No, we're gonna refund you.
So obviously by this point it's really hard to hear what's being said because they've moved away from the equipment to go and like collect all their stuff up. But you know, I'll continue to play the entire clip because there is still about 3 minutes to go, and there is still a little bit more that you can hear. that's the end of the recording. Obviously, you know, towards the end, you couldn't really hear too much of what was going on, but it was just Jacqueline and Scott kind of talking about the refund and stuff like this. But as you can hear there, very, very clearly, Jacqueline did promise Scott a refund, said that she was the most reputable business in the world, one of the most reputable haunted locations in the world, and Scott was like, well, yeah, but a lot of reputable places rip people off as well. Jacqueline got a bit insulted by that. But the clearest recording does come from my first video, where Scott provided me with just audio of the transaction between Scott and Jacqueline, where, you know, it's clear as day. And, you know, you can also hear the transaction between them where Jacqueline's like, don't fuck with the house, don't fuck with me. You know, so starting to intimidate guests in her property. And also where Jacqueline has, you know, come in and said, you've got dark intentions and all the rest of it, starting to kind of like point the finger and make accusations of guests that she's allowed into her home who have paid to be in her home, which is absolutely crazy. But there you go, guys. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Did you hear anything that I missed? Please timestamp and like, please just type out what you thought you heard. Let me know everything down there. Is this the end of the Conjuring house as we know it? Like, obviously, you know, Jacqueline Nunez aside, is this the end of the Conjuring house? Let me know what you think. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.